There are two main strategies for planning your first F2L pair during inspection. The first one is to plan your cross, pick an F2L pair, and then track that pair while you're doing cross. The second is to plan your cross, pick an F2L pair, picture how your cross solution will affect the pieces in your pair so you can predict where the pieces in the pair will end up, and then solve your cross and the first pair. Although the tracking method is probably easier for most people, the predicting method is the better strategy for three main reasons. Knowing all the moves you'll have to do ahead of time means that you can turn faster than if you had to look ahead. When predicting your F2L pair, you have the option of changing your cross solution to influence your first pair, and if you know how to do your cross and first pair from the beginning, you can spend all of that time while you're solving them looking ahead for your second pair. So for those reasons, I'll be focusing on the prediction method in this video. If you want to use the tracking method for whatever reason, it's basically the same as regular look ahead, so you can treat it as such. Now on to actually planning your first pair in inspection. And just as a note, in this video I'm only going to teach you how to do it and how to practice it. I'm going to make a second video sometime in the future where I go over all of the advanced techniques, ideas, and strategies that branch off from planning your first pair in inspection. Then, my final video on the topic will be a bunch of full examples of how I go about planning my cross plus one. For this first example, we're going to be using the scramble on screen. As you can see, this scramble has a pretty easy white cross, and that's actually better for starting out with when you're learning how to plan your first pair. Our first step here is to choose our first pair, and it's good to work with what already looks easy. In this case, this green and red pair will be the easiest to predict, and it will also be the easiest pair to solve after the cross is done. Next, let's go over how we're going to do the cross. In this case, I would do an R to move the orange up to here, and that would move the blue to right there. Then I would do a D2 to solve this red edge, and then I would solve green, orange, and blue with LFR. Now that we have that planned, the next step is to see how that affects our first pair. Our cross solution in this case only has R, L, D, and F moves. And because this edge of our F2L pair is in the U face and in the back, none of those moves will move this piece. So all we have to do is track the corner because the edge will stay where it is. Now let's track the corner. R and D2 won't move this corner, but then the L move will put it right here. Then F will move it from right here to right there, and then the R will move it up to there in this back spot in the U face. So because of that tracking, we know that the edge will stay in the BU position and the corner will end up here, and if you can picture it, the white sticker will be facing away from us right here. Now we need to try and picture what F2L case that is. Because I can track and visualize where the piece goes, I know that I will have this F2L case just like this for my first pair. And because I know what case I'll have and how to solve that case efficiently, I can do the cross and first pair all at once, which would look like this. In general, there are two ways that you can evaluate and choose what pair to track for your first pair. You can look at which pairs are already in a good position or already make a good F2L case, or you can see which pairs have pieces that won't move much during your cross. I use a mix of these strategies very often. The previous example was kind of a mix of both, but let's go over examples of each of those two. For this case, we have a pre-made pair on the white cross, and it's easy enough to preserve that it's absolutely worth doing as a first F2L pair. So the first thing we're going to do for this cross is do an F2 to solve this red edge relative to the blue one, and then there are two more things we need to do. We're going to need to do an R prime to solve this green edge, and we're going to need to solve this orange into the back with wide R prime, U, wide R. And we can do those in either order, so we need to see which order affects this pair better. So if we do this F2, then R prime would break up the pair, and then when I solve this, it would make it into a much worse case than we had before. But if instead we do this orange first like that, it will move over this pair without messing it up. Then we can solve this with R prime, and then we can finish off the cross with a D prime, and then we can insert this pair right afterwards. For this case, it's really easy to solve the cross in a way that doesn't move this green and red edge at all. So all we'd have to do is track the corner, which starts off right here. When I do an F2 to solve the green edge, it will move the green and red corner to the front left right here, and then doing a D prime won't move it, and then inserting orange with R prime F R will move it to the back right here. And finally, finishing off with D prime F to solve the blue won't move it from there. So we know that our edge won't move, and our corner will be in the back right with the white sticker facing the back. So let's just show you that. So we're going to start off with F2, D prime, insert the orange, D prime F, and like I said, we've got this pair right here, just how we predicted it, and we can solve it. So that's how planning your first pair in inspection works, but how do you practice it? That's easy. You just get a scramble, try to plan your cross in first pair, and then try to execute it with your eyes closed. That way, you're forced to actually have everything planned out from the beginning. If you have a cross and first pair done when you open your eyes, then you got it right. If you have a cross solved but no pair, then you didn't predict where your pair would be correctly. And if you have a scrambled mess, then you made a mistake somewhere in your execution. If you want, you can also record this practice and hold on to the scrambles so you can go back later and see exactly what mistake you made. As you practice this more and more, your accuracy will go up and it will be much easier to just understand where your F2L pieces will end up. So that's all I've got for this video. If this was helpful, make sure to subscribe and keep an eye out for my future videos about more advanced techniques and strategies for Cross+1 and my videos of examples. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later, and I hope you have a wonderful day. This is Brody, signing out.